Okay, so just continuing on with pages. Each page can be adjusted with the page name and the SEO description. So let's say, for example, I'm going to click on this About page. If I click on this cog, we have an option to change the page title. Now, this page title is what will show along the top in the URL section. Sorry, not the URL section. It'll show along the top. If you basically were to hover over the tab, it'll show up there of what this page is about. So you might want to say about us or just about or about your business name. Navigation title is what's going to show up here under the in the pages tab. So what you visually see. Your URL slug is the name of the URL. So it'll be like your domain name / about. So if I wanted this to say about us, you could do that. You usually want to keep it quite simple. And again, this page is enabled. So under SEO, this you don't have to fill out. It will pull information from the content on your page. However, it is nice to make this specific. So right now I have about, but let's say I wanted to write instead about Willow Interiors, then that's what will show up in Google under your results. And then it will always have the name of your company after, which I'll show you how to change that. And then your SEO description, there is more information on Squarespace about how to optimize these descriptions. So feel free to check that out. Essentially, you want to use keywords, you want it to be descriptive. Don't copy and paste the exact same thing from every page here, or else Google will just mark that as spam. Essentially, it's not going to find that it's relevant information. So keep it descriptive to specifically keywords that you want to rank for that are about this particular page. Social image. Usually I don't share this or change this, but if you wanted a specific, like let's say you wanted a photo of your like of you here, whenever someone shares the about page, it's a photo of you instead of your site-wide social sharing image, then you could add that image here. Advanced is just for any code injection. So if there's something specific that you added here, unlikely you'll be touching this page. So always go in and save, so you can go ahead and adjust these for every page. So for example, the portfolio page, this is SEO for the site-wide portfolio page. So in the case of the Willow, this is a page that's been created with subpages. So each subpage will have its own SEO. So same with each blog will have its own SEO. So for the portfolio, we can go ahead and change the SEO settings here. You know, what is your portfolio showcasing? What are your keywords? And then if we click here on the 3 dots, we're going to go to settings, and then we can add specific SEO for each portfolio page. And this will be the same for the blog. So your specific title for this particular portfolio that you're referencing, and then the SEO description for that as well. And then same with the blog. So for your blog, you're going to have your main SEO for your blog. So again, a description of your blog. You know, what are you going to be talking about? What can people expect in the SEO description? And then if we click on this arrow, we can then come into each individual blog post and we can adjust the SEO settings for that particular blog post. So again, if you decide not to fill this out, it will just pull usually the first paragraph or so from your post. But if you want to get specific, then that's where you're going to enter the SEO settings. So that kind of drills down a little bit further so that you have control over what you're going to be posting about. Now, for your homepage, if we click on the cog settings, we can see that right now this is set as your homepage. So if I go into SEO, I cannot edit the SEO settings for the homepage because this is actually set in another section. So if I wanted to edit these SEO website settings, you can see here that it took me to the marketing section. So from the dashboard, I'm in marketing, I'm in SEO, and this is where I can decide what I want the SEO description of my website to be. So like I said, right now on your pages, if it said about us, it had that dash Willow and Co. If instead I wanted it to say Willow and Co, dash interior designer, then that's where I would change it in this section up here. When I clicked on to edit and I did edit header, that's where this would change. And then to edit the SEO description. So when you're in Google, you have your site title, you have your URL, which is that slug, that slash about, and then the descriptor. So this is where you're going to do it for the site wide. So if someone were to share your website for your homepage, this is where the description would come from for this particular, for basically your site wide SEO. So you want to use lots of keywords here, really describe what your business is about, and that will help you with Google ranking. There is an SEO checklist that Squarespace has decided or has given to you. So it's worth looking at these other kind of free resources as well. So that is basically the rundown of your pages. So the main page descriptions, again, you have your page title, which shows up along the top. If you were to kind of hover over the main URL, your navigation title is what's going to show up along the side in your dashboard. That's just for you. Your URL slug is always going to show up after your domain name, and then your page is enabled. If it's enabled, then that means that it's searchable by Google. If it's not enabled, it means it's hidden and no one can see it unless they've been given exclusive access to it. So that's pretty much it for your pages.